Put some Linglongs on the Miata.
No, they're Thunderers.
Thunderers. Okay.
Thunderers for the rear.
From down underers.
And the front are like Vindrals or Verdrals, but they're designed in Great Britain, made in Ukraine.
That is a weird combo.
You'd think they had other things to do, but they're still making tires.
They make all sorts of stuff, but just is such a weird marketing campaign.
Right? And then why are they shipped all the way to Oregon to sell? The guy told me he bought them at Walmart. I said, "Oh, okay."
Did you buy them at Walmart or
that
at
answers a lot of
Walmart.com?
Oh, I don't know.
Have you ever stumbled upon Walmart.com?
You can get anything. It's like Amazon.
Yeah, but like with less rules, I think.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
You want this live chicken? I'll ship it inside a box.
Shipping is $46.95, same day.
We will find a chicken in your area.
Pick up in store.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Alex put them on there today. And they balanced out really fast and really nicely.
Well, small tires.
I know.
That
That's great.
helps, yeah.
But I was able to look at some of the suspension,
What is it?
Miata, and
Let me guess. Raceland coilovers.
no, Tiens.
Oh, coilover?
Yeah. Adjustable.
Yeah.
Dampening, not
Oh.
like coil.
Okay.
The
got it.
dampening.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just
Also coil adjustable.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
You can do that too.
Okay.
If you want.
Nope, just dampening.
Just
Just dampening. Yeah.
Doesn't go up and down, just dampening.
But all the bushings were tight and all the control arms were tight and recognized that my rack and pinion is spewing
Oh, good.
just a lot.
What year is it?
1990.
90 Miata.
Yep. 1.6 liters of Fury
Mm-hmm.
with the bad crank. And now slightly more compression. Still not enough, but slightly more.
By bad crank. The crank is fine. It's just that it's the short nose.
Well, yeah.
Crank.
So the short nose crank,
Yeah.
the nose of the crank breaks off.
Yeah.
Which
It's
makes
not-
the crank not fine.
Right. Well, it's not bad now.
Right.
It's just not the
Potentially
preferred.
More likely
crank.
to be bad at some point in the future. Yeah.
Just could be bad.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
So you should put a supercharger on it.
I was thinking about K swapping it.
That's a great
Well,
idea.
there's that.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I saw this last week? I don't know what you call these, like a sprint car without a wing, the little ones. Luke, what are those called?
Quarter midgets.
Yeah,
I was
maybe a
gonna say
quarter midget.
midgets, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We
Quarter little people.
Call 'em, bring it up.
Tiny, like go-kart size, but with a cage.
Sorry. I don't know if you.
How do you
heard what
adjust the
Colin
timing
said
on
there,
those,
but that
Colin?
really got me.
How do you adjust the timing on one
They're
of those?
called little
Colin?
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like go-kart sized, but with a cage.
I'm looking.
Yeah?
Yeah. Quarter
Yeah,
midget.
that's
Okay.
That's
Quarter
what
small
they
people.
run the.
Is there one size? Is
Chili
there like
bowl.
a half? Is there one above that, or is that the size?
Half little people.
No, I
Halfling.
think there's just winged and regular
Okay, and these.
sprint cars.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't
Well,
know. That's a Justin question.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
And
there
you're
was,
more related to him than any of us now.
True.
there was one at PRI with a K motor in it, like a billet, everything.
Yeah.
Amazing. It
Yeah.
looked awesome. Also, I don't know
Probably.
how anybody over 5 feet tall can drive one, but
Have you ever seen a race car driver?
yeah, they're all little. They're like jockeys.
They're all like jockeys.
Yeah,
Less weight.
let's wait. What was the
Weight reduction at
I'm never gonna remember the.
speed.
Yeah, that's what they race at the Chili Bowl. It's a like week-long marathon of running those things indoors in like a cattle barn in Tulsa.
Yeah,
And whoever survives the carbon monoxide poisoning the longest
Yes.
wins. Is that what?
Yeah, whoever can breathe the longest wins.
The cows are the audience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure enough. So this company, Four Piston Racing, makes a 2.5 liter midget race engine.
Yeah.
$40,000.
Is that it?
Fully dressed engine weighs 230 pounds.
Okay.
Wow,
That's not very heavy.
that's crazy. It doesn't say anything about the power, but I bet it's 300-ish, maybe more. That's cool. It was, anyways. It was very cool thing. I didn't realize that that's what it had. I just knew it was like a 4-cylinder engine place. I walked by it a bunch of times. Then finally they took the like front lid off the car, and I was like, "Whoa, look at that!" Here, I'll screen share so you guys can see.
No, I'm looking at
Look at it.
K-swap prices.
Just look at it.
That's awesome.
You should put one of these in your Miata.
Man,
Tilt
that
it
has
over
got
like
some
that
tilt
too.
on it too. Holy
Yeah,
cow!
Dang.
Yeah, how many degree angle is that? Does it say?
They must do a lot to make oiling happen better. What is happening?
154 cubic inches.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Got to call or email Luke at team4piston.com.
Oh, that where you're working now, Luke?
Yeah.
It's a side
Of course.
hustle.
It's the side. Just selling K swaps on the side.
Oh man.
This is it. There it is. Look at it. Look at it just sitting in there. That's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
That might be full sprint.
Yeah,
just doesn't have his wing
I
on
was
it.
wrong. Quarter midgets are little go-kart size ones.
Yeah,
so
they're
these
like
ones
go-kart.
are
This is just a
quarter
midget.
midgets are like Briggs and Strattons.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are like wingless sprint cars.
Okay.
Sometimes
looks-
referred to as midgets.
Yeah, I think
Little people. Yeah.
I do like
little cars.
how easy it looks like to work on that. Most of the motors sticking out the side.
If you need
It
to
just-
work on the
The
top
head,
half,
yeah.
if you got to work on the bottom half
Well, you're done
or
with
the
the race. Yeah.
other side, that'd
You're
be a
not going
little
to
tricky.
do anything below the valves during a race.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
could do below the valves on the exhaust side, but not on the intake
Mm.
side.
ITBs.
Mhm.
So it's $6,000 for the full everything you need to do K swap on in a
Plus an
Through-
engine.
K Power Industries, and then you add the engine. Yep.
Is that
But-
with using your stock transmission?
That's using the stock transmission. Yep. And then in my case, I would have to upgrade the rear to a 1.8 rear.
Once you blow up your other one.
Yeah, but apparently guys do it with the 1.6. They'll blow up the rear of the 1.6 rear.
Well,
So.
you've lived your life with a few Dana 30s in the front.
I
with
sure have.
35s, you're fine.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? You know.
Blow it up.
So it's on the. I'm sure that not buying a kit off of kpowerindustries.com would probably be cheaper.
I like the Australia term for them better than ours.
What is the Australia
They're
term?
called speed cars in Australia.
Speed car.
Oh, speed guy.
I like that.
Speed car.
I like that way more.
You-
Mike got a new tattoo.
Yeah, I got a gratitoad.
He got a frog.
It's
Toad.
It's
Toad.
a gratitoad.
When'd you get that? Man, I leave for 10 days.
2 months ago.
No.
Yeah, a month and a half
Have
ago.
I
a
not
month ago.
seen your arm in 2 months?
It's been winter.
That's
I've been wearing a
crazy.
coat. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I showed you though.
Nope.
No,
First time I've seen it.
Man,
I don't take my shirt off often enough here. You should see what I got
We
on
should-
the chest.
we should start changing that.
It's just
We're gonna do the
a full bodysuit under his
yeah.
shirt.
I
Yeah.
have a full chest piece. No. Yeah, my mom had a tattoo appointment she couldn't make, and she's like, "Does anybody want it?" And I said, "I do.
Is she getting
Get
that?
this done." No, Nope.
It's the plan the whole time.
she's getting puppy prints and a flower or something. So
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
that's a Teresa move. But yeah, I liked it. There was one sitting. It was very quick, and you did a really good job.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah.
I like it. Well, we should do a podcast, huh?
Oh,
Bump.
welcome to the Campfire Passport Podcast.
There
That's
it
right.
is.
Let's talk about Nissan
And Honda
and Honda
and Mitsubishi.
and Mitsubishi.
Oh, is Mitsubishi in the
Honda.
middle of that too?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't know that.
I
Yeah,
think we should lead
and
with
Renault and
our Luke.
Take
ahead,
it away, Luke.
We're
You're
letting
the
you
host.
loose.
No, you're the host. You're the host. I have
That's
some
right.
opinions,
That's
Yeah.
why I just passed it over to
You
my
were
talking
tested
head,
too.
Luke.
Yeah.
but you're the host.
Delegation. Yeah.
We brought you in
Well,
specifically
according
for
to. Oh, I see.
this.
Well, according to lots of, like one news report that then spread everywhere today, Honda and Nissan are reportedly in talks in a merger, which would also involve Nissan's ownership stake in Mitsubishi, and they have tie-ins with Renault and the French government as well.
Oh, darn.
They both denied it by publishing the exact same statement from both sides.
That's helpful.
Copy paste.
Which, yep, just copy paste from one PR department to the next. Nissan has been in some pretty serious financial trouble for a while, and it's really like coming to a head now.
Yeah.
And if you're in Central Oregon, you have any interest in Nissan product, you've known that for what, close to a year?
Yeah, it's probably been almost a year by now.
Yeah,
It was sometime last winter. I remember. Yeah.
yeah, it was like last spring that they
Mhm,
closed
mhm.
that store. And as a dealership, that brand's been hard to deal with for 10 plus years.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's like the least surprising news to me. I think that that whole, if you know any of the history of Carlos Ghosn, the guy who they like snuck out of Japan
yeah.
in a suitcase.
Yep.
He was the head of the Renault Nissan group and was accused of like embezzlement or some like tax evasion stuff. And instead of like facing all that stuff, he escaped to Lebanon because he's like Lebanese.
And that's how
Anyway,
you know that
that's a
you're
whole different rabbit
innocent.
hole to go down. But when he came into Nissan was in a similar situation 20 years ago that they are now. And they hired this guy who had turned around some other companies in other areas and really turned Nissan into something very profitable and like streamlined a lot of the manufacturing and developed a lot of new product, and everything was pretty fresh. If you look at like Nissan from 2003 to 2012.
Yeah.
And then that kind of all fell apart.
Yeah.
And here we are. So,
Here we are.
Well, didn't they just drop
Um,
the Kick? Didn't they drop the Nissan Kick or something?
the Kicks has been out. I mean, Kicks is in its second or third generation. It's it's like a, I don't know,
It's like a
smaller
less
than a
weird Juke.
CRV. Yeah, it kind of replaced the Juke, but it's not
Mhm.
all-wheel drive.
No one
It's
would
like
notice.
whatever the smaller. Is it an HRV that's smaller than a CRV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that size of car. They're they're not profit centers making those little things. They're volume sellers. They're not loss leaders per se, but they're big volume stuff gets people in the dealership.
Mhm.
But like they tried to redo the Titan
Mhm.
and probably poured a couple $1 billion into developing this truck as if they were going to truly compete with Ford and GM and Chrysler,
Mhm.
let alone Toyota with 3/4 ton, half ton plus size pickups, and decided to put a really weird engine in it.
Yeah.
And it's like it was never as good as its competitors. We were selling both, the Nissan and a Dodge at the same time, and putting them side by side, the Nissan was a more reliable, more well put together product, but it was like everything was 10 years old already, like
Yeah.
brand new off the lot. And you could say that across the line pretty much. With a handful of exceptions, everything was like, they're using the V6 they still use now as an engine designed in 1993. Which says something about its longevity, but also like there's zero new tech in it.
Mhm.
Or very
Yeah.
little.
I really thought that Z car was gonna make a splash. I was talking about this
Well-
earlier. When it came out, I was stoked about
Well, it's
it.
a
I was
good car,
really
So
excited.
it's a great
such
car.
a small part of their portfolio. I don't know if that's
And
where
the
Luke's
thing they
going.
did is they put a car out that is a good car that's in a kind of a standalone thing, maybe that and Supra in a price bracket that doesn't really exist in sports cars.
Yeah.
Because Mustang's gone or is going away, Camaro's gone, Challenger's gone, and a Challenger at that price is a V6 automatic Challenger anyway. But nothing else exists in that market. But what Nissan did was they launched this product, and then maybe a little bad luck with COVID and all that, and manufacturing and supply lines and all of that. They launched it with a lot of fanfare. You know, they get Larry Chen photographing it in Times Square and on the roof of buildings and all this stuff, and it was like, you know, people were really excited about it. And then it took them 2 years to put a car in a dealership.
Yeah,
And
there's a big delay.
That basically made the Z car flop, dead on arrival kind of deal.
Well, and the numbers on it didn't turn into being that exciting. It's like just a little bit slower than everything that the Toyota does, and it's like
I think it was comparable performance-wise to a Supra without having another brand's badge underneath the hood,
right?
Which I think people in that space probably would like. But it was so late to the game where Supra was already on the road for 2 years. Like, or you could get a used Cayman for the same price or something, a used Z4 M2 that didn't have a Nissan badge on it, because all of a sudden Nissan's brand identity has just tanked to where everybody thinks they just sell rental cars with bumpers falling off of them.
Or Altimas.
Altimas, Rogues, because Altima's dead, because nobody makes sedans anymore, and they followed suit. They also didn't really do anything with hybrid. Toyota went heavy on hybrid on their volume stuff. They sell a lot of it. The Nissan went real heavy in EV. Pretty much put all their eggs in either EV or full gas, and nothing really in between, or nothing anybody knows about. And Toyota's still going strong, and everybody's backing off of EVs, and Nissan doesn't have anything to fill that gap, as people right now are not buying EVs outside of a couple of brands.
What's the Nissan EV? What did they?
The Aria is the SUV. The Leaf is a thing that's like a golf cart that was designed again. It was a new car in 20. Yeah, and it was a new car in 2012. You can get one for $200 a month, but it only goes 150 miles.
Yeah,
and has a weird charger that doesn't really adapt to regular chargers.
Yeah, it's just like a string of issues.
Yeah, there's like 100 things that have gone wrong at Nissan for the last 10 years, and
they could have redone the Frontier, and it would have been splash.
Well, they did. I think the Frontier refresh is really nice. It's a pretty, it's a pretty nice truck. I like them. It's got a good engine. But they never built a reputation. Yeah, they never built a reputation on the pickup truck that Toyota did.
Yeah,
and they could have, starting with the hard body. They could have like really went ham with the hard body, and then into the next Frontier, or into the first gen Frontier. And then, the last two iterations, they could have like really, really competed with Toyota, and whatever went wrong there because they decided to sell Altimas.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The bread and butter.
The bread and butter. Man,
Maxima.
I'll tell you, like the last 2 times I've tried to get a rental car, they've been like, "Oh, we've got an Altima," and I'm like, "Do you have anything else? Literally
anything else?"
And I'll be like, "Do you have a Camry?" Yes. I will take that.
Take that. So, Mike, just for reference, 400 horsepower, 350 foot-pound torque.
Yeah, I mean I think they're.
I know they're great. So wasn't it like 15 under?
Yeah,
the Supra. Like, not that
they
were
they're
off.
great and have a manual gearbox.
Yeah,
and they also review well. People like them.
Yeah.
But I think the point that I wanted to make there was like, that's like saying that, well, there's 2 pieces of the puzzle, right? Because it could be the halo car, the thing that people see and they want.
Yeah.
But also it's like, I bet you it's significantly less than 5% of their overall sales.
Yeah.
So like, even if they sold all of them, there's still shit out of luck. Because
it's a brand identity thing for them.
Yeah, that was the thing for me, though.
Z and GTR are brand identity. They're not about volume sales. Volume sales are, and profit center volume sales in North America are pickup trucks and SUVs. Like Lauren was saying in our group chat, the Xterra, the fact that Xterra never got a revamp after 2012
Yeah.
when it was
Yeah.
due for one, probably hurt them quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I think that was a good point. I do think that, since I know Lauren will listen to this, my counterpoint that I wasn't going to bring up in the message thread because I wanted to bring it up here is that
Good call.
I don't think that other SUVs are hurting right now, though. There's nobody's upset about the current offerings. I think even though I said the 4Runner is kind of
nobody's
ugly, it's
necessarily
going to sell.
missing it. It's
Yeah.
just that
It could have
it would
helped,
have been
though.
another
Yeah.
option.
Yeah. And it would have overall increased their sales, which I think would have been good.
Yeah, well, another one I would say, Pathfinder is a Murano, a little oversized Murano. And everything on that platform, CVT really hurt them a lot also.
Yeah, they really doubled down on CVT.
Not only do they
Yeah.
drive terribly, but their reliability is horrendous.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in our tiny little store in a small town, you could ask a couple people that we all know that were working on them that would tell you that there wasn't a single day in the last 5 years in that shop that at least one of those gearboxes wasn't torn apart.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just nonstop.
I'm not coming from a position of like I don't understand the business concept that they were doing versus sales and all that. I saw so many different opportunities for Nissan to be exciting and to draw people into Nissan, and they just keep making these jukes, and then they keep making the kicks. They keep making these they're making something that's weird and not exciting, not cool. The Hoonigan crowd is doing commercials for the kicks right now, and the whole thing is it works just as good as the other SUVs. That's it. They're like we're gonna take it towards a lake, and we're gonna drive it in a city. And you're like, okay, wait a minute. So you made a crossover that's it can really cross over, and that was the whole thing. They don't have an exciting off-road version. They don't have
interesting about it.
Yeah, and but they have so many opportunities for that. That Z car, I'm gonna go back to it 100 times. I was so stoked. I was like, every time something came up on it, I would watch it. I'd get excited about it. And then they just stopped producing information about it, and they stopped making videos about it, and they stopped. And so then I stopped seeing it.
Yeah.
It's not that I became disinterested and it went away. Not that I could afford one. I just thought it looked really good, and I was excited to hear, how it performed and all that. By the time it came out and they were track testing it on, our favorite YouTube channels, I was like, oh yeah, where'd that go?
That was a thing.
Why didn't they,
Yeah, they didn't
Some of
capitalize on it very much.
Some of that's cause and effect. They got to a point where they couldn't sink a bunch of money into Z that's a loss leader from an advertising standpoint when they were already hemorrhaging money in other spots. You're hemorrhaging money on Titan. You're trying to just offload what inventory you have. Or you're trying to get people through the door to buy Rogues, which is really where the money's made. And
Z-Car 41 to 54,000.
Yeah, you can get into one at a pretty decent price. You get out of a Miata, that's about where you max out a new Miata spec wise, and you jump from the Miata to Z-Car.
It's middle edition 5.0 Mustang. Zone.
Yeah, and also to clarify, S650 is going nowhere, Luke. Is
Mustang staying? I thought Mustang was going.
Staying. Yeah,
Mustang has become the brand.
A swan song.
No, they pretty much have all their eggs in that basket. And also, there's some weirdness there, I think, too. But you're right. It's in that spot.
Well, and that's the only thing left.
Yeah. I mean, that is a weird little dry spot because there's above that, there's some things. And below it, there's some things. Yeah. But in the middle is a little weird.
Yeah.
Might have been different 10 years ago.
Matt Farah talks about it all the time, that there's outside of Miata, because Supra is going away, Mustang and Miata are it in the under $80,000, which is a big number.
The 8.6.
The what?
The 8.6 and the BRZ. That is
that's fine. You can forget.
Okay, sorry, I forgot about those weird
Subaru
Subaru things. But they sell. They sell
like crazy.
Yeah, they do.
They're a great price point too.
Yeah. Okay, so put Miata in there too. I forgot about. Put 86 BRZ in there. I forgot about that. But
yeah, it is a weird one. They also this is not news that would surprise anybody, but if you didn't pay attention when the Nismo one came out, Mike, they went DCT only or auto only. I forget which
it's
one
auto.
it is.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
remember that.
auto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's gotten some complaints too. Not because it's like all of them, it's faster and all this stuff, but it is a car that is a little bit under, like the stats aren't great already, so it's not going to be the fastest car. So optimizing the lap time by a second became a point where a bunch of journalists were like, why are we doing this? Why did we not just put a 6-speed in it so we could enjoy it more?
Yeah. Follow the Miata platform, which is have fun with the car. It's not winning 0 to 60 times. It's not winning this and that.
Yeah.
Make it the most fun it could be.
There was, it might have been Matt Hardigree. He's on Motor One, right? He's the editor of Motor One.
It's a great question.
Anyway, when they did their like
know.
Japan month, a couple months ago, he wrote a whole thing that was like the ethos of Miata from like Mazda's standpoint. And it was really interesting that they're like, nobody cares about lap times. Nobody cares. Like, it's about like the enjoyment of it's the driving experience is like the entire ethos.
What is the? It's like the horse and the rider are one.
Yeah. And like, I wish more brands would focus on that rather than like what I get like GTD, GT3 RS, like what's your Nürburgring time, but like most of us don't care.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Matt Hardigree is of the Utopian, by the way.
Who's it Motor One?
I don't know.
A bunch of stuff came out because the new Miata just dropped yesterday.
What?
The next generation. I don't think it's anything like earth-shattering, but
sorry, audience.
I'm going to need some evidence.
Furiously typing away, trying to find a source for Mike.
I'm going to need a source for that.
It's reckless speculation.
Reckless speculation.
It's
if that's not a title of an episode, I don't know.
They just dropped it. It was on Instagram.
Like on Mazda's Instagram or something?
No, it was somebody at like a Mazda event.
Next gen Mazda MX-5 will be electrified in 2026.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's the same car. It's just that they're having an electric version or maybe a partially electric.
I don't think they're going to do it on that platform. I think this platform will go out with the new car. Well, I think the new car will be an all new car.
I think it's not all electric either. I think it's like a mild hybrid to fill in the mid-range stuff.
Price in the neighborhood of $33,000.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Yeah,
that's a neighborhood I could live in.
That's one of those. When like actual publications come out with it, I'll maybe dip my toes in that.
Yeah,
not Instagram guys.
Right.
I only trust Instagram guys. That's where I get all my news.
Well, I'm looking at this on Motor Trend, and it says that they're likely to develop EV, but the weight of the battery and the size of the chassis itself, they fear it would hurt its performance too much because of just like what you were talking about, their ethos of the Miata.
Yeah.
So it's more likely that it will just be it'll be a hybrid of some kind, but not necessarily full EV because of those reasons. So which I can get behind.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be in this chassis. I think maybe they used a picture of this current car as a filler for an article.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So I was gonna say the current car they just relaunched with like upgraded diffs and electronics like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I would say the Nissan news is not entirely surprising.
No.
Japanese government has some like financial interest in Nissan, so they're not just going to let it like die. I think there's too many stakeholders. The French government as well. So I think it's only, I think it's probably the best move to find a stakeholder that's also Japanese to maybe do some house cleaning there or whatever. I don't know, but it's kind of sad. It's a brand I've always had a thing for, but that's like Honda, so whatever.
Yeah, you could eventually get a K-swapped from the factory Z car.
Doubt
Well, I
it.
don't work for any of them anymore, so I can get
kidding.
whatever I want. I just,
No, I'm just saying.
I only buy Honda Power equipment. So
Oh well, hey, that's a smart move.
it'll last. It'll last.
Yeah. Well,
no electric
interested to
lawnmowers
see
for
what
me,
they-
Mike.
I just want to know what they do. I want to know what they're gonna come out with as their first joint thing that says.
I bet we won't even.
Hopefully,
notice.
it's a new S2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That
this
would be-
Like
I could get it.
Datsun Roadster.
2000.
a
Yeah,
S2000 / Datsun Roadster.
I would love that. I'm
I
just
could
not
be
holding
all
any
over
bit of
that.
my
Well,
breath.
yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, there's no holding your breath for it, but it'd just
No,
be nice to
absolutely.
have that back.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
just
that was the only thing that was like as close as you could get to a Miata while
With
not
some
getting
power?
a Miata.
with some extra power.
Yeah. Maybe a little better, maybe a little worse. I
Yeah.
don't know, but it's right there next to it.
I'd say it's better in almost every category except for enjoyment. Well, everybody. So I bought a Miata recently, and so I've been watching and looking, doing all kinds of stuff, and that's been the clash is the Miata and the S2000, and there's like objectively everything about the S2000 for its generation versus the generation Miata it was against, which is like the NB stuff and into
Yeah.
the beginning of the NC stuff. Objectively, everything about the S2000 is better.
Yeah, it's
All the
basically
numbers.
like a Ferrari compared to a
Yeah,
Miata.
but every single person that did a review side by side was like, you know what, though? I think I would probably take the Miata.
They're all fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
But it's
I
just
have-
more fun.
I have a
and
Miata. I would have had one
I
then, and I
get it.
have one now.
I've had a lot of them.
Man,
I've
I
never
don't
had an
know.
S2000, but
they feel special. Miatas are awesome. There's no I would never dog on a Miata at all. I think they're fantastic, but it's
Except for the NC.
it's too
even the NC,
it's
I drove
two
one.
different things. They're like not even. It's like a.
It is a slightly different spectrum, but
I
it's
mean,
like
it's
the same.
The concept is
concept.
similar.
Yeah.
But it's just like that digital gauge cluster is so all the stuff, the
Yeah.
interior quality and
Oh yeah,
I mean, it had a push to start button in when it came out. Like that is
Digital
that was
age
like
cluster
spaceship
and
stuff.
a red start button is like a Ferrari.
That's right. That's pretty much the only thing that sets a Ferrari
I
apart
drive a
from
lot of
normal
them,
car.
and those are two defining features.
And then add a
Other
third
than
one
that,
in.
Camry, yeah.
Third Ferrari thing, 9,000 RPM red line.
I know. I was gonna
Oh,
say
hey.
Fair,
So-
hey,
they revved them.
3 out of 3.
Yeah.
It's
It is a
basically a Japanese Ferrari.
Yeah. It's like instead of the
Who needs an
5.9
NSX?
Instead of the 599, it's a 199.
Yeah.
That's also the price.
Yeah.
Well, should we talk about trucks instead?
Yeah, let's talk about
Okay.
trucks.
Oh, mid-size or full size?
Oh,
Well,
boy.
let's see.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to devise a plan on how I want to do this while Sean's making noise over there.
Dunk, 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 dunk.
Should I start? So I have 3 vehicles for us to review here.
Oh,
Oh,
sick.
okay.
For would you pay money for this?
Mhm.
Do you want to start with the oldest
Mm,
or start with the cheapest?
Cheapest.
mm.
Cheapest. Okay. All right. So
We need a theme song for this. Mike,
Yeah, we do.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
Yeah, how are you at
Do you
writing
have
jingles?
money? Would you pay it for that? Bow. And that's it.
all right.
That's
so
not bad, actually. I don't hate that. Let's work on that.
We'll workshop it. Yeah.
Let's workshop that. All right. So we've got a 2000 Land Rover Discovery 2.
Of course you do.
Stock
I-
Disco too, everybody.
Stock Disco 2.
oh,
I mean,
man.
I'm partial, obviously. I'm the Land Rover guy here. 2000, but here's the thing. This thing's not that special. It's 100%
Green
like
wheels.
normal, green steely wheels.
But isn't it a green truck and they don't match?
No, it's black.
Oh, okay.
That's a
'cause
black truck.
Yeah.
From
Uh,
It's a
Shadows.
reflection of the
They-
glass.
so
yes.
what this has going
Whoa.
on though is that it has 50,000 miles.
that seems like more of a problem
Which,
than a benefit
yeah,
on one of
it's
those.
super low
Yeah.
miles, but that just means that the head gaskets have never been done on it,
Yeah.
which is not great.
and they've just been sitting there
So, I'm-
stewing.
It is overall pretty clean. It's got
He
a little
calls
bit
it
of a
close to a barn find.
Yeah.
That's also scary.
little bit of a
They found it near a
seat
barn.
issue. on the driver's seat, which isn't,
It's all
this
right.
is I love that 3.9 liter produces a whole 182 horsepower
Oh boy.
and gets 13 miles to the gallon. But the bright side is it never gets worse than 13 either.
That's right. It's
Always.
like the Ford
It's
460
always,
thing.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
always 13. Believe me. Underside's very clean.
Looks like it, yeah.
Rattle can restoration.
Interior is really clean. Here's the problem. Because it has 50,000 miles, they think it's worth $26,500.
Oh my God.
Has it always been in Florida?
Yes.
Oof.
No.
Yeah.
It votes. It votes.
This really bugs me
Like Florida.
that because it's a low mile, it's a completely plain, like there's like I said, absolutely nothing special
unremarkable.
about this vehicle. But because it's got 50,000 miles, it's $26,000 when you could get one of these in just as nice a shape with 100 to 150,000 more miles than that for $3,000 to $6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Is it
I
like
do
the-
not get that like concept of how the low miles somehow bumps the price like $20,000.
Are they doing like the Corvette guys do, which is like, this is the only one produced in 1991 on May 5th that is red, that has this shift knob, and then if you wear your cutoff jorts and your New Balances, you can sit in it.
There you go.
Is it like that, or is it like
No,
nobody was ordering them plain like this, so we painted the wheels
It's
poorly?
just that
and
it's in good shape and has 50,000 miles.
Yeah. doesn't.
It
seem
was owned by an old man that never drove it.
Yeah, 80-year-old owner. He's the second owner now with
Alright.
50,000 miles on it. List of maintenance and repairs or upgrades over 25,000. Okay, well you're not going to get that back
No.
for one.
Nope.
Like,
Yeah,
and his last Rover dealership service was at 30,000 miles.
including a head gasket,
That has had head
coolant
gaskets.
flush.
Okay, well, I
That
mean,
shows some reliability problems.
That ups the
That's
the
not
I
a-
mean, that does mean you might have 100,000 miles where you don't have to worry about it, but
what year is it?
2,000.
2000. So here's the thing. We've had this argument a little bit before. I think that there is a point where low mileage is worth a lot of money, and it's worth it for somebody that's not us. It's worth it for a collector or whatever.
Mhm.
But to me, that is like,
Single digits.
it's sub 10,000.
Oh yeah.
It's sub 20,000 like as a stretch, but it's sub 10,000 for
Yeah.
sure. 5,000 mile Disco 2, 25 grand. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't buy it, but there might be some value there because it's showroom fresh in quotes or whatever. But
Yeah.
50,000 miles is just a low mileage driver.
Yeah.
It's really not that special.
Yep.
There is some special to it, but I don't like, to me, I would not pay money for that. I would pay $2,500 for that all day long. But 25 grand,
26.
26 grand.
Mhm.
I just did a little quick bring a trailer, and this is not, so there's a 98 Discovery 2-door 300 TDI 5-speed that
Mhm.
went on Bring a Trailer.
That's a Disco 1, yeah.
Yep, I know. It's like the last of the one. I realized that's why I asked the year. But
Yeah.
so last of the Disco one, really cool in America, rare spec, right? Like
Mhm.
it's really cool. 78,000 miles, went for 13,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I would
Exactly.
rather
That's-
have two of those for the same price.
That's what I
Yes.
was thinking. I was like, if somebody was asking 10, 11, and it was that low miles, and they could
Yeah.
put it up at a dealership, probably you could probably get that from somebody's aunt, who's not really
Just
sure.
going to
what's-
drive it about as much as the first owner did.
Yep, and then that's fine.
Oh,
But
here's yeah,
20 grand, I would not pay money for that.
No.
It's
here's
too
another
much.
one. 31,000 mile 04 Discovery 2 HSE, fully loaded, beautiful green.
Like the color of the wheels.
22,500.
Yeah.
So even cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
even less miles. That's just too much.
All right. Well,
just too much.
what do you say, Luke?
No.
I was waiting for it. Yeah, I actually think it's a good deal.
No. No, but
That's full nose.
I thought the game was like we're not negotiating here. It's just yes or no.
No, you're right.
So,
Yeah, so the premise
no,
of the game is
it's a Florida car, so no. And two, for that kind of money, I can get something far, far nicer.
Yeah, far
and
better.
newer and better. That Land Rovers are supposed to drive across Africa, but for 26 grand, I can get one that's nicer to drive across Africa.
yeah.
Yeah.
Buy all kinds of LR3 for that money.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I would,
And
Yeah.
LR4
or an LR4
for that matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Next
next one, we've got a '93 F250
Ooh, okay, I'm in.
service bed with a '73 Alaskan pop top on it.
I almost got one of those before I got the
Okay.
4-wheel camper.
Oh, I love these. There's
So-
a local one that I see at the mountain at least once a year.
Pretty cool. It's very simple, very stock. So obviously, it's going to need some stuff because it's just
That's an Oregon
it's an
plate,
old
too.
truck.
Not difficult to modify them.
So 203,000 miles. So my one gripe with this article here is the F250 with the 7.3 motor is legendary and desirable choice. This is a 93.
Oh, it's an IDI.
This is an IDI. This is not the legendary 7.3 that he thinks that this person that wrote the article thinks it is. But you
Yeah.
would think the people on Expedition Portal would have that figured out.
Is it a Banks turbo version? Do they have?
It does. It does
Yeah,
have
it
a
does.
turbo conversion on it.
Okay. That's helpful, but still,
But
it's not.
it is still.
It's not
It's
the
not
one.
a power stroke.
No.
Yeah.
This is an IDI with. I believe that's a ATS. I think that's what that in manifold says there.
Okay.
Never gets mentioned in the article at all. I mean, interior
Seems
is
important.
pretty clean.
Looks nice.
Is the service bed's in pretty good shape. He's got his little diesel heater stashed away in one of the
Yeah.
bins there.
Smart move.
Yeah, it's got 400 watts of solar, 2,000.
I don't even need to say a price on this.
Watt-hour.
I'm in.
You're in
Yeah, I've already.
freshwater.
If
20
this
gallons.
is an active listing, you might not want to show it to Mike.
Here's the thing. I just blew
He
all
just
my money
got
out of
one.
Miata.
Still got a Jeep.
So,
So
Oh,
this
you're right.
is
I could
listed
trade
for
it.
$39,995.
That's too much money, but I still want it.
Turbo would be good for the high altitude, Sean.
I think
That's
I'm,
right.
I think I'm a no on it.
Really?
I as much as I love an OBS, I don't think I want a service bed. I don't.
And
I
it's a
don't want
250.
I don't want an IDI.
and you don't want chicken wings.
I'm fine with chicken wing. I'm
I
fine
just want-
with a big long travel
I-
TTB.
Not,
I'd
but
be-
not at this price.
Shout out to Carrot Customs. I just want
Exactly.
to drop this off at him and say, hey,
Just
buddy,
put your shit on it and
here you
let me go.
Put a Duramax in it if you want. I don't know.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is you could get one. You could
Oh,
probably find one
significantly
for less
cheaper,
than
yeah.
40 and then do the same
Yeah.
thing.
Those
So,
campers are so cool.
It's
looking.
nice. It is cool. Like it's a very retro cool.
I almost picked one of those
But-
up before we got the 4-wheel camper, and they're rad, but they are getting old.
Yeah, it's old.
And the parts and pieces in them are wear items in a way you wouldn't expect. So each one that we looked at 2 different Alaskans, and like everybody has a 4x4 post that they lay down, and then they push it up, and then they pop it up, and they use the 4x4 post to hold everything in place
Oh, I don't want that.
so that you can't get it, so it doesn't fall on you while you're sleeping, and like all different things. And I was like, it's just too rough. Because Haley and I were like, we could redo one of these. We can make it really cool. So not that that's the condition this is in, but
Yeah, it seems this one.
Are there
does
any
seem
shots inside the camper?
I
There
didn't see
isn't.
any.
That's annoying.
Unfortunately, yeah. And I wonder. Let me.
I bet it's OG.
Let's take it further. We'll go to
The
his actual post.
forum.
Maybe
Oh, yeah.
we'll see.
Oh, is that a YouTube video?
That's a dang old YouTube video.
Dang.
And see, it is. So it's a factory.
Okay.
So it's a Ford bolt-on ATS turbo.
yeah.
Oh, and he's dropped the price down to $37,900.
Oh, it's still for sale now. Oh, good.
All right.
So let's see if there are any.
We'll trade for JK Jeep.
Well, now that you mention it.
Okay. Scrolling,
Interesting
scrolling,
trades
scrolling,
considered.
scrolling. Man, I'm getting close to the bottom, and I still haven't seen anything inside.
It's just got a cool vibe to it.
It does.
I'm
It's
very into
like
it.
all the vibes are there. It's not quite the right one for me to say I'd pay money for this.
I'm in the same boat.
I'm
I would,
still in.
having had what I've had, no interior pictures.
Nothing inside.
That means it's original. That means it's in this.
Yeah, I think
It's
that
probably
makes-
cleaned, but like
makes
outside,
me think
considering
that
the rest of the
camper's
truck.
Yeah.
gross.
But yeah, it doesn't. There's
Hit that YouTube video.
hit that YouTube video, boy.
Come on.
Pull that
We're
up,
gonna be-
Jamie.
Canceled. Yeah.
Let's see if they do a little tour inside with the video.
Oh, there it
here
is,
we go,
there it
here
is.
we go. Here we go.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go.
All right.
Let's see.
Hit full screen, Colin. Come on.
I mean, that thing is, yeah,
That's
I mean,
not-
that's
no.
original, clean, but original.
Very
Yeah.
period.
There needs to be pictures in that. That should have been photographed because that's in good enough shape that you shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
not
looking-
terrible.
looking good.
Yeah. That's not like hidden shape. I was thinking they were hiding it because it was full of rat
Bucket.
shit.
Yeah.
and-
I mean, it says that it's rot free and whatnot, like in the ad.
yeah.
Look at the sconce. Beautiful
That's a nice
sconces.
sconce,
Oh, that is
Yeah. Period. Correct.
really something. She's a beaut, Clark.
There's an RV.
I can
We're
only
gonna-
imagine what it smells like in there.
We're gonna
Just
take it with us when we
full
leave here next
70s
month.
in there.
It
you know?
is
Yeah.
cigarettes
You-
and gin.
You know
Yeah.
exactly the smell.
Mm-hmm. Musky. I
I'll-
still love it. I don't
Upgraded
know.
the fan. I like the camper. I mean, having had what I've had, I would not do that. I would not pay money for that.
I would love to show
Okay.
this podcast to Mike of 2 years ago.
No, no. He wouldn't listen to you.
No, he would not.
Mm-mm.
I didn't say that.
Nope. I'm not saying I wouldn't have my setup again.
Ah,
I would
just
just
wouldn't
do
have
it.
this
I
one.
would do
Got
it
it.
differently.
got it.
But that's even heavier than a 4-wheel camper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That setup with
Yeah,
the
the
service
service
bed
bed,
is
especially with the
way
service bed,
heavier.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm, put the coilovers on it, swap in a better motor, put another $40,000-$50,000 into it.
Yeah.
Just be great. And
You
it still
try and
wouldn't
go
go
around
to
a
places
corner
I
and
really
just-
want to go.
Yeah.
Lifting tires around the corners because
All right. So here's
I
the
would-
last one. I think this one's going to be the.
For the record,
crap.
no, I would not pay. It's cool.
oh yeah, we forgot to
No.
ask
okay.
Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the only one.
It's very cool, but no.
Yep. I think this one's going to be the crowd pleaser, if I'm being honest.
Okay. What if you're lying?
But I'm not. I just said I was being honest.
Oh well, you said if you're being. I didn't know.
Well, here we go. 23 Gladiator Rubicon,
Okay.
which is a kind of a meh start.
Okay.
No offense, Luke.
Come on.
It's just. I mean, it's just well, when it's just that's the start.
Well, one of
23
us had
Jeep
to be the
Gladiator
first
Rubicon.
across the Rubicon Trail.
It's just
Come
one of
on.
those like the starting of that isn't
on,
isn't
scroll
as
down, I gotta see
exciting. No,
this thing.
isn't as exciting as say an F-250 that's got an Alaskan camper in it. Right. The title is a little okay.
All right.
So here we are.
Tray bed.
It's got a tray bed.
Why is it so tall?
Well, Sean,
Because it's on portals.
those are 38s. Just so you know,
Okay.
they look very small on there,
That thing, it looks like it needs
and there's a reason.
much more tire.
I
For-
saw the word 74 weld.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on
portals.
portals.
So
That's
it's
what I
on
thought.
portals.
Yeah.
So this sucker has got 74 weld portals. It's got a tray bed with a big old with the full
needs.
straight out of freaking 4-wheel drive 24/7 drop
Yep.
down kitchen on one side and
Oh,
who
yeah.
knows what else on the other side. GFC camp, well, the
Tent,
tent,
RTT.
not the actual camper because of the tray bed with the little box deal.
Yep.
It needs bigger tires. If I'm
needs
being
42s.
honest.
Yeah.
for sure.
Those tires look really small.
It
on
needs
there.
42s.
They
Or
look
no
like-
lift. Like
They look
yeah.
like 31s.
Yeah. Davidson remotes on it.
sure,
And
those are 38s.
those are
That's crazy.
38s. I opened a picture and zoomed in to make sure.
Really?
Oh my
Because
God.
they look so
They
tiny.
look
on
like
it.
35s.
Yeah.
Looks like
Uh,
35s with 10 inches of lift.
Yeah.
It looks like my Jeep did when I picked it up.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the 3.6. So
Roller
it's just
skates.
the V6 in it still.
But
Not-
it is geared
it's not
down
the
thanks to
diesel.
the portals.
Yep. So that helps. Heated leather seats, all that stuff. Here's the not camp camp kitchen side. So
Mhm.
it's all his power setup and compressor and a bunch of switches and all that jazz.
Not red arc, but kick ass.
Another
Power.
picture of the front. Still got the front sway bar disconnect on there.
Okay.
And we're gonna get down
Odd.
here.
Some odd
Distinguishing
choices
features.
there.
It's got it's got heat treated axle shafts. For some reason, they made it an 8-lug conversion.
I've
1-ton
seen that,
hubs.
like
How
3
come it's
times
not-
now with the 74
Well,
wheel
because
kits.
those axles are what are the ones with the orange CV
Yeah.
covers?
RCV?
RCVs, yeah.
So how come it has 3.88 inches of lift, not just 4?
It's the portals.
Why not 3.5?
So it
Why not?
doesn't have lift other than the portals.
That's
Portal
weird.
Which
map.
doesn't make
That doesn't
it
make
seems
any
really
sense because I've
tall
seen these
compared to
on
that.
like you've seen the JL like 392s on 40s and
Mhm.
these, and they look perfect. Like they don't
Yeah.
look awkward at all. This looks goofy as hell.
This has to have more lift than that, I think. I mean, it says that the portals.
Oh, it does.
do
It's got a
3 inch
2.5 inch kit
plus
too.
2 inches.
That's why.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So that's what it is. So it's got too much lift for how little tire it has.
Yeah, that's
if we're
too
being
far.
honest with each other. There's the front. Mike's gonna walk out. Fridge in the back seat.
Yep.
Instead of in the canopy, which okay, it's got a full goose gear thing back there. Another shot of the fancy axles and stuff.
Yeah.
A shot of how obviously small the tires are. And the thing that I saw was that it does not come with the tent or the canopy portion of the tray bed.
Oh, that's
And
the price.
and we are at 72,000.
Well, it's $20,000 in Portal
Right? Yeah.
plus a 23. I mean, it's probably. I don't want to say it's cheap. It's probably fairly priced. I look at this though, and I think this is the thing Luke might be thinking because he's making a lot of noises over there. It is a lot of really good parts thrown into a bucket, and like somebody threw them into the bucket. They shook them all up, and this is what they came out with. And if you read the spec list, I'd be like, yeah, this thing's sick. But I'm looking at it and I'm just like, man, I don't know if that's how I would have done it. I kind of like, there's a bunch of stuff I like. I like the ARB bumper. I like the tray bed. I like all the different things. I love the portals. But as a whole, it's not great.
Yeah, it didn't all come together as good as they may have hoped, I think.
I think this is a money doesn't buy taste scenario.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think, Luke? Let's hear what all that grumbling's about.
Portals make trucks drive like forklifts, so I don't want that because I'm going to drive it a lot. I mean, I drive mine half the year.
Yeah.
And so I would say no to portals. I like the bed box, but then like some choices were made, like putting the fridge on a goose gear platform. Why not just have seats?
Yeah, because you got that whole
and put your fridge
canopy.
in
You got
the
the
back.
whole canopy to stick it in the back. So
I don't care for that bumper. I like the little stubby, but that's a pretty easy choice anybody could make there. That's not a big deal. I do like that bed box thing, but I don't know that I love it. I kind of like my setup. So I don't know. I agree. It seems like somebody wrote a check and said throw a bunch of stuff at this. And
What's funny
kind of
is
see what sticks. And there's a bunch of stuff I don't think it's as good as the sum of its parts.
No,
yeah,
I think that's the thing.
That's a good way to put it. For
I
sure.
think this is $120,000 of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's funny because it's not a deal again, but it's like a price where you're like, yeah, that probably makes sense. But man, I just look at that and I'm like, I don't
have to
know.
undo a lot
There's
of it.
certainly more into it than what it's priced at.
How many miles?
40 total retail build cost was $95. Plus the sticker on the truck puts it at $150. Wow.
Yeah. I mean that I almost believe it, or at least it like
I do,
parts and labor, but it's not.
Yeah, 60,000 without the dirt box configuration and tent.
Oh, okay.
Without
it's an either-or situation.
Without the canopy piece.
I mean, honestly, at that price, well, those are probably 20,000 too. So
15, yeah, something.
Yeah, the tent.
I also prefer the diesel over the gas, but
yeah, that's the other thing. Is it's the gas, so it's kind of like.
Also, man, 23 versus 24, you don't get that better screen and all that good stuff. And now it's aged a tiny bit.
It's aged.
How many miles are on it?
Yeah, that's what I ask. Is it more or less than
sub 10,000?
Yeah,
with just
single digits,
2,950 miles.
I figured.
So yeah,
So
so
they
this
didn't even drive it.
100%.
Oh,
is
it's brand
a
new.
checkbook.
Yeah.
They put it together and they probably didn't like it.
Oh, it
See,
turns
for
out I
that
don't really
kind
like
of money,
camping.
well, because they added a bunch of weight to it and didn't put a Hemi, didn't Hellcat swap it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is really
Yeah, they put 20,000 in portals instead of into an engine.
putting that much stuff. Putting that much stuff onto that engine, I think is overdoing it.
This is a Hellcat swap and 42s away
Yeah.
from being pretty great.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
At that
50
point,
grand
it's
away from being
very
awesome.
interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
you've already spent this 148,000 total.
Just
What's
bump that up to
what's
250.
what's another 50 to 100?
You go find a
and it'd be
392 that's
perfect.
been rear-ended.
Give it
And
the
then
Hemi,
you-
Ron.
Yeah, the Hemi run.
Hemi run.
Yeah, that was.
So I'm a no.
I'm also
on
a
that.
no.
I'd take some parts off it, but as a whole,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I'm a. Oh. I think I'm a yes with a caveat.
You were gone for the whole
You
time.
can't have a caveat.
No, I know. Well, I would just modify. I would just continue to modify it. It needs to be different. I think that at the $72,000 mark, if I was in a position to pay money for that, I would, and then I would do better.
I think I would say, hey, I'll give you 50 for it. You keep all your garbage, and I'll take the truck with the portals and the tray bed.
Because see,
End of story.
I would pay. You do the
You can keep your
72,000.
35s too.
Keep those 35s.
See, here's what I was
that
thinking.
are
Right,
38s, but okay.
you do exactly like Sean's saying. You buy it. You take the portals off.
Oh no, I'm
No.
keeping them on.
No,
for
you
my
take the
42s.
portals off.
Take
and you,
that 2-inch lift off is what I do.
and you sell them to put and you keep the 38s and you Hellcat swap it.
Yeah.
You get 15 grand for 10 grand used for those portals, and now you've got tires that fit correctly, and you can run around as you are for now, and then you put in a right motor.
Yeah.
I think for the box and for all the other stuff, I don't think I can get into it
I think
for
the
cheaper.
move would be sell the tires and the 2-inch lift and put 40s on it. 40s, 42s.
42s you can't lose.
Keep it going.
Enough. I just saw a post by someone that they just released the 42-inch trail grappler in a 17-inch wheel instead of
Oh,
20s
Instead of
only.
this,
So
yeah.
that's kind of cool. They look
Okay.
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, a
I'm
lot
not-
of tire.
I'm not getting them,
It's a
but
big- it's a
they're
big-
awesome.
That's a big tire.
That's a big tire. That's
Big
a lot
tire
of
on a little
sidewall.
wheel.
That's like a
It's the old 37s on 15s.
15s, yeah.
Yeah.
Foot
Hell
of
yeah.
sidewall.
And notoriously heavy tire too, right?
I mean, at 42, they're all heavy. I don't know.
Yeah.
They splitting hairs at that point. They're all going to weigh about 100 pounds
Well, but
plus.
a 37-inch trail grappler versus a 37-inch BFG, the trail grappler, if I remember correctly, is like 15 pounds heavier.
Might be. I don't know. Load
Maybe
rating
then-
for load rating.
maybe-
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe compared to the 6-ply
Yeah.
BFG.
If you do
but-
8s to 8, I think they're probably within 10
But also
pounds.
the BFG is not actually a 38.
Tiny little 36
Yeah,
and a half.
36 and a half.
It's a little guy.
Yeah, so.
We went and got Christmas trees, you and I,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago.
We did, yeah.
Yeah,
And
sorry I
I
missed you.
Parked my vehicle at home and I forgot about it. And I went on a trip.
Forgot about
and
what,
I
the
went
tree?
the truck, not the tree. The tree is up in the house, luckily.
Tree was on
And
the road.
before I came tonight, I realized that my tires are at 15 psi, and they've also been sitting for 2 weeks.
Yeah, little flat spots. Huh?
Little flat spot.
Sean, you already knew this, but Mike and Colin, you'll be happy to know that I too went and got a Christmas tree in the
He
snow.
went snow wheeling.
Whoa.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Was
Yep.
it deep enough that you had to air down, or did you just like, no, street pressure?
No, it was just, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Street
got a Jeep. He
pressure.
doesn't have to do that.
Used a little low range for a couple hundred yards, but yeah, I did in fact go snow wheeling.
I'm
Wow.
proud of you.
Look at
He's ready.
Uh,
Get ready, buddy.
you.
Month and a half, we're going snow
More
wheeling.
like, get ready, Sean. You're going by yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then calling me and be like, "Look, I'm stuck."
Come help me.
Let me find you the number for Matt's off-road recovery. I'm not coming.
Sean will be up there digging himself out with a plate again.
Okay, so
Worked
35-inch
before.
trail grapplers are 10 pounds heavier than 35-inch KO2s.
Load rating for load rating.
Yep, same.
Yeah, that seems right.
So
We're happy.
yeah, that was the only thing I was trying to remember.
But also, what's the actual measured size?
Ooh.
Because I'll bet you the trail
bet they're bigger.
grappler
Yeah.
actually measures 35, whereas
Yep.
the KO2 measures, 33 and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe
On
34.
a good day. Little baby tires.
Little cute tires. All right, what else did we have? We had. Do we want to talk about stupid front back Jeep that's not stupid anymore?
Oh man, yeah.
I'm so glad.
Or do we want to talk about
Yeah. I think that's good.
the Series 3?
Was this Fred's thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's like a Motor Trend project. I think it was actually like
Oh.
Rick
It was a
Payway's.
magazine project. Yeah, Rick Payway did it.
And then Fred had it and
Yeah.
took it on a
on a UA.
a UA before it was
Yeah.
Unreal. It
Yeah.
was Ultimate.
Just the Ultimate. It wasn't Unreal. It was real.
It was real. Yeah, when it was the front back thing that was
Yeah.
So
basically
stupid.
Okay.
looking.
basically
I know almost
every
nothing about
YouTuber's
this.
wet dream now.
I don't watch
Yeah.
car
You know.
YouTube, so.
Well, that's essentially what it was, but it was before the YouTube days.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying. Like at the time, that like if someone on YouTube built that now,
Yeah.
they'd be the talk of the town for YouTubers. Like that's what the Onyx build challenge turned into for some of those guys.
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
they just built something stupid it's not in any way practical in the sense that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
YouTube people, man.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt us for 1 second. I just saw Mike's chat message that said "gotta pee." I
Yeah.
thought it just came through, and I was like, "What?
Again?
You already went?" Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, that was before. No, and it didn't have very good usable space.
No,
It didn't
it's pretty
have
bad.
like nothing about it was better except that if you parked behind it, you didn't know if it was gonna be in driver reverse. Like,
Kinda.
well, originally,
It didn't look very convincing from the back.
It wasn't convincing, but
originally it was
If
better.
you squinted from a few hundred yards away,
you'd double take it.
yeah,
You'd give the old double take.
Because the original build concept was it had two front axles, a front axle in the front and a front axle in the back, and it had steering and it had all the other parts and pieces and all that. But it just looked, I thought it looked dumb.
it screams SEMA build. and it was
Yeah.
Oh,
stupid.
yeah.
Every time I saw it, I would just
Scream
be like,
YouTube
God,
build,
you
It
guys
was-
just are under some sort of contract to be driving this ridiculous thing, aren't
Mhm.
you?
Well, what's so frustrating is like it did UA so many
Oh, a
times
bunch of times.
just fine. It was actually really good at doing the Jeep stuff. It
Yeah,
just
'cause
never
simple
looked
Jeeps work well.
right.
Everybody knows that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought
that was the least
Honestly,
simple Jeep.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it other than I hated the way it looked until I stumbled across the video where Dave Chappelle takes it and he starts talking about what it's got, and I was like, really? It's
Mhm.
got all that? Like,
Yeah.
it's got those like Dynatrac 60s under it.
Mhm.
It's got hydro assist, all this stuff. No idea.
And
I
it's got
thought
Front suspension twice. So
I
it's
thought
got-
it was basically bone stock
Yeah.
because I just didn't pay attention.
But he built a
It's
really
got
cool
stock
bed
engine
on
and
it.
transfer case and transmission.
Yep. Yeah, he built a cool bed
But
on
yeah,
it. I was really
Dave
happy-
turned
yeah.
it into like a pretty decent looking Jeep truck.
It's like a modern Brute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was okay. Did you? I don't keep up enough on his stuff. It's like way down my list of things to watch usually. I saw a YouTube or an Instagram post that said that he sold it.
Yeah,
Is there
he
a
sold
video
it.
about that?
He
He-
finished the top. So
Okay.
he
So
made
it
it so that
doesn't-
it has like the
Sunrider.
Isn't that like the Sunrider top, like the
Okay.
soft top that can flip open.
Mhm.
Yep.
So it's like
It fits where the freedom panels
it
go.
fits, but it's not like it's perfect. But that's not what he was going for either. He was just like, I just want to make it so that there's less wind and
Most
not
of
as
the
much water.
Most of
coming
the
in.
snow stays outside.
Like,
Yeah.
that was kind of all it was. And when in the video afterwards, when he's driving it, you can kind of see, some light, some spots that didn't quite seal all the way up. But
To be fair, it was going to
Considering-
California.
what he did to make it all fit was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then he drove it all the way to California for this guy that apparently works at Milestar,
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
who already had 2 Jeeps and apparently had to have this one. So
Sure. And you know what?
he had a TJ and a JK.
Down there, it doesn't really matter how well
it might
the
have been a
top
JL.
seals.
I can't. I'm.
I think it was a
it
JK.
might have-
I think the white one?
Yeah, I think the white one might have been a JL,
Yeah.
which means that he's got the trifecta now. He just needs a YJ
One of each.
and then
yeah.
a CJ, so he can have all of them. But like, it was funny because Dave was like, "Oh, he doesn't have like a serious
Rock
crawler,
Yeah.
and he shows up and he's got a TJ that's probably on 37s.
Was it TJ or an LJ?
It was a TJ.
Okay.
And then there was and then the JL that's like probably on 37s, maybe 38s, and like stock. He's like, well, he doesn't have any serious wheelers.
He goes. He said something about like pulling into a Jeep parking lot or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't know he had all these, but okay.
Okay. Well, I sold it.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than
I
it
think
was.
it's much better.
And it did yet another UA, which is cool. And yeah, I think Dave did a pretty decent job. The bed turned out really cool.
I'm always surprised by the way that he does things because he's like, well, I kind of like to just do it. And you're like, he didn't draw anything. He didn't write anything down. He goes, well, we're going to hold this here and
He also
trace that.
did all those pieces in aluminum.
Yeah.
After he didn't want to do it in aluminum.
He's like, I hate
well,
aluminum. I don't like working with aluminum.
I've got aluminum, so I
I'm gonna-
guess I'm going to use it.
That's great.
So he made all these panels out of aluminum, and it's just like, oh, okay, well.
And the plexiglass rear window. And he did a lot of work, but
It's a cool rig.
yeah.
It's cool. It's weird,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
But it's less weird than it
It
was.
is
And
definitely
that's-
less weird.
Significantly less weird.
Significantly less weird,
That's so good.
but
you know,
it's still not as cool as Nate's Series 3.
Yeah. Speaking of things that Luke doesn't know anything about, I just watched his most recent video
When he took
Yeah.
it in the
snow
snow?
wheeling.
Yeah.
Like the second time he snow wheeled it on video, or third time actually, because there was like the one time where they tested it,
Yeah.
the second time where they went out with the Jeep with the gnarly BC snow wheeling kind of setup. I know it's not in BC, but like it's those same things,
Yeah.
46s and a 500 horsepower LS or whatever.
Mhm.
And then I watched this new one where he goes out with his buddies, and those tires work.
Yeah.
man.
yeah.
And it's like lighter, obviously. Everybody
it's
knows
so
that.
tiny and
But
light.
God,
He
it's so
turned
cool.
around on the trail. He goes, "Oh, this is kind of cool." And he's like, "I know being this short of a wheelbase is not convenient for a lot of things, but as he's turning around in the trail on the trail without having to go off the trail, I'm like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
But he was down to like 1.5 psi pressure
Yep.
with no bead locks, and was like, just
You got a
fine.
screen share so Luke can see.
That's what I'm pulling up right now.
Yeah,
It's a good looking rig.
it's cool, and it's
There we go.
Volkswagen diesel powered.
No, it's not.
No.
That's
No?
Land Rover.
Is Land Rover?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, his TJ was Volkswagen diesel powered,
Correct.
and so is the Samurai.
Correct.
But it's the Land Rover TDI.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So that used to confuse me too, because they say TDI, and I'm like, oh, it's Volkswagen. And you were like, no, it's
Nope.
not.
Other companies can say TDI too.
I'd like him to stop. It confuses me.
But
Yeah.
Well,
this
I don't
thing
know anything
is
about Land Rovers.
it's just this little shorty
Yeah.
deal, and because he's got the cab, the truck cab on it now,
looks very
it's like
cool.
it just looks so hilarious. But yeah,
That's a great
38
sweatshirt,
inch.
the heartbeat of America. the old Chevy. Our old service manager had that painted on his shop floor.
That's dedication.
It was awesome.
Yeah. But also the
let's see.
that S10 does pretty cool too.
Yeah,
Does
I
pretty
mean,
well.
Yeah, that S10's an
They're-
interesting build from what I've seen. But
Yeah.
39-inch KO2s.
snow stickies.
They call us snow stickies all the time.
But yeah, I just think it's super cool, and I'm into what he's doing with it. Like that, this was the whole concept, was he wanted a snow wheeler, and like that's it basically.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
he built it for. So 38s on 16s, and there are actually Arctic snow truck tires.
That's pretty cool.
And
He keeps
it,
calling
I
them
mean,
Atlantic snow tires.
and it probably, the whole truck probably weighs 2,500, 2,600
He keeps saying, like
pounds.
32.
Man,
you know what grinds my gears
that'd
about?
be pushing it.
This is another one of those things that always bothers me about watching some of his content, but this one specifically, he keeps talking about, I think it's 3,200 pounds. I'm like, just weigh it, man. Just weigh
It's
it.
pretty easy.
I've seen like 6 YouTube videos where you're speculating the weight of this thing.
Yeah.
Just weigh it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so
I
rad
love it.
that
And it
watch
does
move.
great. It
floats.
It floats so good.
That's the cool
like
part.
that's what's really cool. Yeah, it just, because then he, like right after this trip, he does a trip in his disco.
Yep.
And it's just like the
opposite.
instant difference of how heavy it is. It just sinks everywhere he goes.
But it just goes.
But
yeah.
low. It's because Land Rover has a good low range compared to everything except for a Rubicon. It has the lowest factory low range out there, and enough power, I guess, is how you'd put it. But he's also on that thing's also on tons and 38s also.
Yeah.
So I mean,
39s. That one's got the 39-inch KO2s as well.
So
I think.
So yeah, I don't know. I really dig the Series 3. That's
such a cool
all
rig.
I can
Yeah.
say about it, and it is cool seeing it. I'm interested to see it on more snow trips and different snow conditions to see kind of what it does. Like it'll be interesting to see what it does in like the powdery powder.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's so light it's going to want to float, but it can't because of the powder. So does it have the power to push anything?
I don't know.
It might have the torque to do it. I mean, he was talking about gearing it lower at one point when he was doing the Arizona trip. But I think in this video, he's like, I don't know. I don't know that I need to gear it any lower. But he was talking about still having transmission issues.
Yeah, he needs a transmission for it. It pops out of gear, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think, Luke?
It's cool.
Luke fall asleep.
Yeah,
whatever. I hate snow and Land Rovers are stupid, but
I don't know
sure.
because I know nothing about Land Rovers. I don't know the difference between a Series 2A and a Series 3.
Mostly headlights.
So I was Googling that. And
just the age. Yeah.
I still can't tell the difference. They look identical. Yeah, it's cool. Iceland tires are pretty neat. You guys probably already talked about it, but the lady, the CEO of Ineos,
we didn't.
was on another podcast.
Yeah.
And she was talking about they have an outfitter, like they have their own branch in Iceland that like puts like 49s on them.
Dang.
And
they bought, so there was like a Icelandic upfitter that they like contracted to help them develop the Grenadier, and then they just bought them.
Yeah. You know how I don't really love the Grenadier? On big tires, I love the Grenadier.
It's good. I can't wait to see like the first one, not the first one, but the first one that I see on, like 40s around.
Yeah. I had one behind me in the Miata on the way here, and in the dark, they feel like they're really close to you when you're
in a
behind
Miata?
you and you're in the Miata.
Well,
because it's just the whole grill. It's the entire back of my...
A stock Tahoe feels like it's inside of your vehicle when you're in a Miata.
You're in a Miata, yeah.
But the good news, we got a house. Did I tell
No,
either one of you guys
No.
that? We got a house, so we're really excited about that. Luke knows. So that was the good news of the week.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Thanks. Cool. And then PRI was long, but good.
Yeah.
Very long.
Did you see anything cool, or was it just other than the not midget, might be midget car?
Some cool drag cars, couple Indy cars.
Wasn't Beater Bomb there?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I did just learn today that that person has never taken their hood off before the show.
Yeah.
And that it has a big block with twin CT turbos, which was funny because I was in the booth talking to them about a project, and I just kind of like walked around. I was like, this car is kind of cool, and I just walked away. I didn't really know it was like a whole thing.
It was a huge deal.
Yeah, Fox body.
Well, but he's like the premier, first, fastest Fox body guy, and for the longest time, he was winning everything, and he wouldn't tell anybody anything.
Yeah.
They'd roll up, the 13, 20 guys would roll up, and they'd be like, what do you got under the hood? What's the setup? And he'd go, it's a 1J with twins and Power Glide. And they'd be like, oh, okay.
So it's like a 600 cubic inch big block with...
Right. But he was like an early big block guy, and so there was a whole lot, like his front suspension was all completely handmade. It's not a kit. It's not parts. It's cool. All a bunch of different conglomerate stuff. And the same thing with the rear. And he kind of has had a come to Jesus in the last year or so where he's like, you know what? I'm very fast, and there's so many people who want to be very fast, and like, why would I not help?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a big enough internet person now that I'm not having to make 10 grand by winning this race. He's building race cars. He's doing all kinds of stuff, and his life is good. So his joke was that he brought it there and he's going to bring it back to PIR next year. PRI. I do it every time. PRI next
Portland
year.
International Raceway.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
That's what gets me
yeah.
wrong. He's going to bring it back next year with a lift. He's
Oh,
trying to find a lift sponsor. So that
Oh
he
my
could-
god.
He said they caught some guy under there with a tape measure under the rear of the car.
That's awesome. So yeah, bunch of drag cars. There's a lot of race cars there, which is really
Yeah.
cool. But I think that's about it.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. PRI is cool. You would really like PRI because a bunch of cool cars like that are actually Luke obviously would too. Race car.
I like race cars.
A lot of drag cars.
I like
a lot of
race
cool
cars.
performance parts. You see all the SEMA. You see people walking around that are car celebrities. But at PRI you see race people.
Yeah.
You see drag race people. You see no prep people. You see IndyCar drivers. You see NASCAR drivers.
Really?
Like, they're just there.
Any rally cars?
No.
No drift cars?
There was a couple Formula Drift cars,
Okay.
Formula Drift cars, but it's not a thing for them.
Yeah, I saw a Instagram post that it was like Graham Rahal, Tony Stewart, Connor Daly, like a bunch of IndyCar people all just like having a round table. I was like, that'd be pretty cool to like just
Yeah.
listen to for a minute.
Just fly on the wall.
The other
Yeah.
thing I got to do twice, luckily, was go to St. Elmo, which is like this famous place in Indy where like all the
Mhm.
race car people go.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool. I was pretty like
Have some
excited.
shrimp cocktail.
I did.
Eileen
did.
loves the shrimp cocktail there.
It's weird. I don't like shrimp, but
Oh.
it's like the thing you have to do. So I did it twice.
Yeah, world
Did it
famous.
twice.
Yeah. It's
Well,
world famous.
When you
I
go
don't
with
like
a group,
shrimp,
when
so
you
I'll
go
get
with a
it
group
again.
of people and they're all like, "You got to get the shrimp cocktail." You're like, "Well, I already had it. You got to get it again." And I'm like, "You know what?
Sure.
Okay."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll have one.
if you guys
You
ever
talked
watch
me into it.
if you guys ever watch Parks and Rec,
Mhm.
where they go to St. Elmo's and Jerry gets confused for Newt Gingrich.
Yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
That's at St. Elmo's.
Yeah, yeah, pretty great.
Classic Jerry.